There's a reason why Scorpio is both feared and revered, loved and misunderstood. For thousands of years, astrologers, mystics, and philosophers have whispered about this sign as if it carried a secret the world wasn't ready to face. But the truth is, this Scorpio does not simply live a life. Scorpio lives a war, an invisible battle between darkness and awakening, between poison and enlightenment. You see, most people move through life avoiding their shadows. They flee from pain, suppress their fears, and decorate their illusions. But Scorpio was born without that luxury. This soul was not designed for comfort. It was designed for confrontation. To be Scorpio is to carry the sacred duty of descending where others dare not, into the hidden caverns of the psyche where truth and terror intertwine. When the ancients looked at Scorpio in the night sky, they saw more than a constellation. They saw a gate, a passage between worlds. To walk under this sign meant to carry the energy of both the healer and the destroyer, the serpent and the phoenix, the poison and the cure. And that is where the misunderstanding began. Because people see the poison, but they rarely see the medicine. They fear the sting, but they don't understand that it is also a form of awakening. The hidden battle within Scorpio is not about enemies or revenge. It is a battle of consciousness between the instinct to control and the wisdom to surrender, between ego and soul, between shadow and light. And every Scorpio feels this war, whether they admit it or not. Some fight it through relationships that burn and collapse. Some fight it through careers where power, jealousy, or obsession play out as karmic teachers. Others battle it in silence, a war behind calm eyes and a composed face, while deep inside, storms rage. This is not a punishment, it is a design. Because only through the fire of inner conflict can Scorpio achieve its true destiny transformation. In ancient Buddhist texts, there is a concept called samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. To ordinary souls, this sounds tragic, but to Scorpio, it feels familiar. Every loss, every betrayal, every collapse is another symbolic death. And with every death, Scorpio rises again, more refined, more conscious, more powerful. Scorpio lives many lifetimes within one. And through that repetition of dying and rising, it becomes the living proof of what Buddhist wisdom has always taught, that suffering when faced consciously becomes the doorway to liberation. But let's be honest, the Scorpio path is not gentle. It is not made for those who seek balance or comfort. It is made for those who seek truth, the kind of truth that shatters illusions, that strips away false identities, that demands you confront your deepest desires and darkest fears. And yet, that very confrontation is what makes Scorpio divine. Imagine a scorpion in the desert, still patient, unblinking. It looks peaceful, but beneath that stillness lies a venom that can kill or heal, depending on how it is used. That venom is symbolic of Scorpio's emotional energy. It can destroy through obsession, jealousy, or manipulation, or it can heal through passion, devotion, and truth. Every Scorpio must decide again and again how to wield that power. This is why no other sign is so magnetic, so feared, or so transformative. Scorpio does not flirt with change, it embodies it. It doesn't talk about transformation, it dives into it. Each heartbreak, each betrayal, each confrontation with loss is another initiation, a spiritual ritual written into Scorpio's DNA. And perhaps that is why you are here listening to this message. Because deep down, some part of you knows that your suffering has never been random. You have felt the fire, the sting, the collapse, but also the rebirth that follows. You've lost people you loved, and yet somehow you came back stronger. You've walked through endings that could have broken you, and yet your soul kept whispering, "Get up, there's more." That whisper, that unexplainable will to rise when everything has fallen apart, is the voice of your higher self calling you through the war. It's the same call the Buddha heard under the Bodhi tree when he faced his own shadow Mara, the tempter, the illusion, the inner enemy. Mara was not outside him, it was within. And that is exactly what Scorpio must understand. The enemy is not the world, it is the illusion within you. To awaken as a Scorpio is to realize that the poison you feared was never meant to kill you, it was meant to purify you. Each time you confront your anger, instead of projecting it, you transmute poison into clarity. Each time you forgive where you once wanted revenge, you turn venom into light. Each time you let go of control and trust the deeper current of life, you begin to taste enlightenment. But let us not romanticize this journey. Scorpio's enlightenment is earned through scars, not theories. It is born from heartbreak, betrayal, isolation, the crucible of experience. And that's why this sign produces souls of depth, artists of transformation, spiritual warriors who teach not through words but through presence. Look into the eyes of a Scorpio who has faced their darkness and survived. You will see galaxies of silence, oceans of pain, and still an unwavering light. They have gone to the underworld and returned, and that's why their aura feels different, because it carries both the ashes and the flame. So as we begin this exploration, the hidden battle within Scorpio, I invite you not to fear what you will hear. You will not find cliches about mystery or seduction here. You will find yourself, your wars, your scars, your transformations seen and named for what they truly are, sacred initiations. And if you are not a Scorpio but you love one, listen closely. You may finally understand why they seem to live 1,000 emotional deaths, why they crave truth like oxygen, why they pull you close and then push you away. They are not broken. They are in the middle of their transformation. Because to be a Scorpio is not to live peacefully, it is to live purposefully. It is to become again and again the living symbol of the soul's evolution from poison to enlightenment. Now take a deep breath, feel the weight of your story and let it rest for a moment. Because what we are about to explore is not mere astrology, it is the map of transformation itself. Welcome to the path to Buddhist wisdom. Welcome to the hidden battle within Scorpio. Comment if this resonates with your soul. Have you ever felt that your pain was secretly preparing you for something greater? Part 1. The shadow of desire. Every Scorpio carries within them a secret flame. It burns quietly, often hidden beneath calm eyes, composed gestures, and measured words. But make no mistake, that flame is the core of their being. It is the fire of desire. The raw, primal energy that gives Scorpio both its magnetism and its torment. Desire for Scorpio is not a shallow craving. It is not about possessions, pleasures, or fleeting satisfaction. No Scorpio's desire is a hunger for fusion, to merge completely with what it loves, what it seeks, what it dreams. When a Scorpio wants something, being, or someone, it is not a gentle wish. It is an obsession that floods the soul, consuming thought, breath, and reason. And this is where the battle begins. Because in that desire there is both creation and destruction. In Buddhist philosophy, desire is known as tanha, thirst. It is the root of suffering, the force that binds us to the wheel of samsara. But unlike other signs that easily distract themselves from longing, Scorpio cannot run. The thirst becomes their teacher. The fire becomes their initiation. And through that intensity, they must learn the difference between desire that liberates and desire that enslaves. When a Scorpio desires with purity, seeking truth, connection, or transformation, the energy becomes sacred. It ignites creativity, passion, healing. But when that same desire becomes infected with fear, the fear of loss, rejection, or betrayal, it transforms into poison. It tightens into control, obsession, manipulation. The flame that once illuminated begins to burn the soul from within. That is why Scorpio's love stories often look like wars. They do not simply fall in love, they surrender to it. And when that love is threatened, it feels like death itself, because to lose the object of desire feels like losing a piece of the self. Scorpio doesn't just want to love, it wants to become love, to merge with the other so completely that boundaries dissolve and two souls breathe as one. But here lies the danger: the closer the merge, the greater the fear of separation. And so begins the endless dance: pull close, push away, test, sting, redeem. Desire becomes both the chain and the key. The ancients understood this paradox long before modern psychology. In Egypt, Isis wept for Osiris, her tears resurrecting him from death. Her devotion, pure desire, became the power of rebirth. In Greece, Hades abducted Persephone, driven by shadowed passion. His desire enslaved rather than enlightened. One love resurrected, the other imprisoned. Two faces of the same energy. And every Scorpio must live both faces before learning mastery. They must experience the pain of possession and the emptiness that follows before realizing that true union does not mean control. It means surrender. Desire in its purest form is not about taking, it is about seeing. To look at another soul, another dream, another truth, and recognize the divine within it. To touch it without grasping, to love it without binding. This is the spiritual test of Scorpio: to transform lust into devotion, craving into compassion, and control into trust. In the language of alchemy, this is called transmutation. The base metal of passion must be purified by fire until only gold remains, the gold of awareness. Every Scorpio relationship, every obsession, every heartbreak is another fire in that alchemical furnace. And though it may hurt, it is never wasted. Because through each burning, the soul learns to refine its energy to distinguish the sacred from the toxic. Have you ever noticed that when Scorpio falls, it does not fall halfway, it dives headfirst into experience? Whether in love, art, or purpose, it gives everything. And that's why Scorpio evolves faster than most signs, because it feels everything. Its suffering, when faced consciously, becomes enlightenment, but when denied, it becomes addiction, bitterness, and self-destruction. The poison of Scorpio's desire is self-forgetting. When they cling too tightly to what they want, they lose themselves. They drown in longing, mistaking the object of desire for the source of life. But the truth is this: no person, no passion, no dream can complete them because they were never incomplete. The union Scorpio seeks has always been an inner one, the reunion between their human longing and their divine awareness. That realization marks the turning point. When Scorpio learns to observe their desire, rather than be consumed by it, the fire changes color. It becomes steady, golden, luminous. It fuels transformation instead of destruction. And that's when the Scorpio soul begins to master its greatest weapon, emotional energy. You can feel this difference in an awakened Scorpio. Their presence no longer burns, it warms. Their eyes no longer demand, they understand. Their love no longer consumes, it liberates. They become healers of desire itself, showing others that the only way to transcend craving is to face it without fear. In Buddhist terms, this is the beginning of non-attachment. Not cold detachment, but freedom. To love fully, yet remain free within it. To desire deeply, yet not be enslaved by the outcome. This is Scorpio's enlightenment: to realize that true power is not in possession, but in presence. The unawakened Scorpio says, "I want you, I need you, I must have you." The awakened Scorpio whispers, "I see you, I honor you, I release you." And that difference is the bridge between poison and enlightenment. But do not misunderstand, even the most evolved Scorpio will feel the shadow calling. The temptations of control, jealousy, and passion will return again and again. Because the war is not fought once, it is fought across lifetimes. Each time the soul refines itself a little more, burning away a layer of illusion. Each time it remembers that the fire was never the enemy, only the ignorance of how to use it. So, if you are a Scorpio soul, Or if you love one, understand this. Desire is not your curse, it is your initiation. You were born with more fire because you were meant to master it, to turn lust into love, pain into wisdom, and obsession into awareness. You were not meant to extinguish your passion, you were meant to purify it. And when that happens, when the fire burns clean, the Scorpio soul becomes a beacon. The same energy that once destroyed becomes the light that guides. The same eyes that once feared loss now see eternity. And the same heart that once demanded becomes the heart that forgives. That is the shadow of desire, the first battlefield of Scorpio's hidden war. A war not to destroy passion, but to sanctify it, to remember that within every flame of longing lies a spark of the divine. Life lesson, the fire that teaches. Every soul burns, but not every soul learns. Scorpio's fire was never meant to punish, it was meant to teach. Desire is not evil, it is energy. It becomes poison only when the mind clings, when the ego says mine. But when Scorpio learns to love without fear, to want without possession, to feel without control, the same fire that once caused pain becomes light. The lesson here is simple but eternal. You cannot kill desire, you can only transform it. What you crave is not another person, not power, not recognition. It is your own divine wholeness calling you home. So, the next time your heart burns with longing, don't run from it, breathe into it, ask it. What truth are you trying to show me? Because behind every desire is a door, and when Scorpio walks through it with awareness, that door leads straight to enlightenment. Comment if this resonates with your soul. Have you ever discovered that what you wanted most was actually guiding you toward who you were meant to become? Part 2. The trial of betrayal. If desire is Scorpio's first fire, then betrayal is its crucible. Because nothing strips the soul bare like the moment it realizes that trust, the most sacred thing it gave, has been broken. For Scorpio, betrayal is not a small wound, it is an earthquake. It shakes the foundation of who they are, what they believe, and what they thought love meant. Most signs experience betrayal as disappointment. But for Scorpio, it is death, because this sign does not love halfway, it merges. When a Scorpio trusts, it gives everything its loyalty, its secrets, its soul. So when that trust is violated, it feels like the universe itself has turned against them. It is not merely the loss of a person, it is the loss of faith in the sacred. But here lies a mystery most people never understand. Betrayal in the Scorpio path is not punishment, it is initiation. It is the ritual that tears away illusion so that truth can finally emerge. Scorpio's heart is forged in loyalty. To them, loyalty is not optional, it is oxygen. They protect those they love with fierce devotion, often beyond reason. They will stand by you in chaos, fight for you when no one else will, and carry your secrets into the grave. That is the beauty of Scorpio loyalty, absolute, unshakable. But that very intensity becomes their test, because the deeper the loyalty, the deeper the wound when it breaks. The universe, in its strange compassion, uses betrayal to show Scorpio what cannot be destroyed. When everything they trusted collapses, when the friend deceives the lover, abandons the ally, turns cold, the soul is forced to ask, what remains when everything I believed in is gone? And the answer whispered from somewhere beyond the pain is always the same. You remain. Betrayal, painful as it is, serves as a mirror. It reflects where Scorpio's trust has been misplaced, not only in others, but sometimes in illusions, in expectations, or in the fantasy that loyalty could replace self-awareness. Scorpio often confuses intensity with truth and loyalty with love. But the soul must learn that loyalty is sacred only when it is rooted in freedom, not fear. In Buddhist teachings, suffering is never random. It is the echo of attachment. When Scorpio clings too tightly to the idea that others must mirror their devotion, betrayal becomes inevitable. It arrives not as cruelty, but as correction, a divine reminder that no bond can be deeper than the bond with the self. Because until Scorpio learns to be loyal to its own soul, it will keep attracting those who teach it through pain. Many Scorpios, after betrayal, retreat into silence. They build emotional walls so high that no one can reach them. They become detectives of the heart, analyzing every word, every gesture, searching for hidden motives. They turn their pain into armor. But true healing doesn't come from closing, it comes from seeing. Because when Scorpio looks closely, they realize that betrayal was never truly about the other person. It was about the part of them that needed to give everything to prove love, to feel safe, to be seen. The sting of betrayal, though cruel, is a sacred fire. It burns away illusion. It shows the Scorpio soul the difference between dependence and devotion, between blind faith and conscious trust. It teaches them that loyalty cannot be demanded, it must be earned, and even then it must remain free. And here lies the paradox that only the awakened Scorpio understands. Betrayal is both the wound and the medicine, because only when the heart has been broken open does true compassion begin. Only when the old self has died in the fire of disappointment does a new awareness emerge, one that no longer fears loss, because it has already lost everything and survived. This is why some of the wisest, most spiritually evolved souls are Scorpios who have endured deep betrayal. They have walked through the valley of ashes and come out carrying light. Their eyes no longer seek vengeance, they seek understanding. Their hearts no longer demand loyalty, they radiate it naturally, without fear. In that transformation, Scorpio becomes the guardian of truth. They no longer cling to what's false, no longer beg for love that must be forced. They see clearly who is genuine and who merely pretends. And this clarity born from pain becomes their greatest protection. Remember, the scorpion can sting, but the phoenix does not need to. When Scorpio has learned the lesson of betrayal, revenge loses its meaning. Because there is no one left to punish. The betrayer was never an enemy, only a mirror. And when the mirror is no longer needed, it shatters by itself. That is the hidden wisdom of Scorpio's trial. The betrayal that once seemed to destroy them actually freed them from illusion, from dependency, from the chains of needing others to define their worth. They rise not harder, but wiser. They understand that loyalty, when purified, is not about holding on. It is about standing firm in truth, even if it means standing alone. So if you are a Scorpio who has been betrayed by love, by family, by fate, know this. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to see through the illusion, to learn discernment, to love without blindness, because through that heartbreak, your soul discovered its own unshakable center. Life lesson. The gift inside the wound. Betrayal is a sacred fire. It does not come to destroy you, it comes to reveal you. The people who wounded you were not taking something away, they were removing what could no longer stay. They were forcing you to see that trust begins not with others, but within. The true meaning of loyalty is not how tightly you hold on, but how deeply you see. To be loyal to your soul means to honor your truth, even when it costs you relationships, comfort, or reputation. Because once you choose truth over illusion, you are never betrayed again, you are simply redirected. So when you look back at those who hurt you, whisper gratitude, not for their cruelty, but for the awakening they unknowingly delivered. Without them, you might have mistaken illusion for love, dependency for devotion, and comfort for purpose. The wound taught you what the world could not, that what you lose is never more powerful than what you find when you return to yourself. Comment if this resonates with you. Have you ever realized that the one who betrayed you was also the one who pushed you toward your awakening? Part 3. Death and rebirth. Every Scorpio at some point in their life meets death, not always in the literal sense, but in the spiritual one. It might come through the end of a relationship, the collapse of a dream, the shattering of an identity, or the sudden silence of a chapter they thought would last forever. And when it comes, it does not knock gently. It arrives like fire through a temple, burning down everything that once felt safe. For other signs, endings are transitions. For Scorpio, endings are annihilations. Because Scorpio does not skim the surface of experience, it becomes it. When something dies in their life, a part of them dies too. And yet, paradoxically, that very death is what keeps them alive. It is said that Scorpio's ruling planet Pluto governs both death and regeneration. But to truly understand this, one must look beyond astrology into the timeless language of the soul. For Scorpio, death is never the final act. It is the sacred initiation into rebirth. Each loss is an invitation to evolve. Each collapse is a cosmic whisper. Shed this skin. It no longer fits your spirit. In ancient Egypt, initiates of the mystery schools were placed inside symbolic coffins during rituals of transformation. They would lie there still and silent as if dead, while priests chanted invocations of the underworld. When they rose, it was said they were twice born. Their fear of death burned away, their vision forever changed. Scorpio lives that ritual every few years. Their life is a series of symbolic burials and resurrections, each one peeling away another layer of illusion. In Buddhist thought, this process mirrors anicca, the law of impermanence. Everything that arises will pass. Everything that blooms will fade. And yet within that fading lies awakening. Scorpio, more than any other sign, understands this truth in their bones. They feel impermanence not as philosophy, but as heartbeat. They know that love can end, trust can break, dreams can dissolve, and still somehow the soul survives. It rises from ashes quieter, wiser, but alive. But let's not romanticize it. The process of dying before rebirth is brutal. Scorpio does not glide through change with serenity. They resist, they rage, they break. They mourn what was lost, not just the people or circumstances, but the version of themselves that existed before the fire. In those moments, they often feel abandoned by life, stripped of identity, wandering through emotional ruins. And yet, this is precisely where transformation begins. Because real transformation does not happen when life is comfortable. It happens when everything that is false collapses, when the masks are burned away and the ego has nothing left to protect. Scorpio's darkness is sacred for this reason. It is the womb of rebirth. In that dark night, Scorpio begins to see through illusions. They realize that what they thought was love was often attachment, that what they thought was control was actually fear, that what they thought was death was simply change in disguise. The moment they stop resisting the destruction and surrender to it, something miraculous occurs. The ashes begin to move. From within the ruins, a spark flickers, and from that spark, the phoenix begins to rise. This is why Scorpio's symbol is not just the scorpion, it is also the eagle and ultimately the phoenix. The scorpion survives through instinct, the eagle through vision, and the phoenix through surrender. The phoenix does not escape the fire, it becomes it. It understands that only through total death can new life be born. And this, dear listener, is the essence of Scorpio's hidden battle, the courage to die again and again, to let every false identity burn until only the truth remains. When Scorpio finally embraces death as part of life, their energy changes. The bitterness softens, the fear dissolves. They stop clinging to what must end and begin to trust the rhythm of impermanence. They stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start whispering, "What is this teaching me?" That shift is the very definition of awakening. Death to Scorpio becomes no longer an enemy, but a teacher, the one teacher that never lies. It strips away all illusions of control and reminds them that nothing external can define who they are. Not a title, not a relationship, not a past, not even the body itself. Because underneath all of it, the soul remains. Silent, luminous, unbroken. This realization gives Scorpio a strange kind of serenity. They no longer chase what is fading, nor fear what is coming. They become like still water after the storm, reflecting everything, grasping nothing. And in that stillness, a new power awakens compassion. Having died so many times, Scorpio can hold others through their own deaths, emotional, spiritual, or otherwise. They become healers, guides, phoenixes who carry fire, not as destruction, but as light. That is why people often sense something eternal in Scorpio's eyes. It is the look of someone who has already died once or many times and come back. It is not morbid, it is wise. Because when you have faced death, you stop fearing life. And yet, this wisdom cannot be given, it must be lived. No Scorpio awakens without walking through loss. No Scorpio reaches peace without first being burned by the fire of impermanence. The soul must be stripped naked again and again until it learns that endings are not punishments, but portals. Life lesson: the sacred fire of endings. When life burns your world to ashes, do not run from the flames, bow to them. Because the fire is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Scorpio's path reminds us that every death, every heartbreak, every failure, every goodbye is a disguised blessing. Something must die for truth to be born. Something false must collapse for authenticity to stand. In the same way the lotus blooms only in the mud, your wisdom blooms only in endings. The lesson is simple but eternal. Nothing you lose is ever truly lost. Every ending carries the seed of a beginning. Every death holds a silent promise that you will rise again stronger and more awake than before. So when you find yourself surrounded by ashes, remember you are not being destroyed, you are being reborn. Comment if this resonates with you. Have you ever faced an ending that later revealed itself to be your rebirth? Part 4. The Occult War. After walking through desire, betrayal, and death, the Scorpio soul begins to awaken to a larger truth, that its personal suffering was never only personal, that the storms it fought within were echoes of a much greater storm, a collective war between consciousness and illusion, between awakening and control. This is the hidden war, the occult war, not of sorcery and demons, but of energy and awareness. It is the eternal struggle between the forces that awaken the human spirit and those that seek to keep it asleep. And Scorpio, being the guardian of transformation, stands at the very center of it. Most souls wander through life half awake. They fear darkness, so they never enter it. They fear truth, so they live within comforting lies. But Scorpio was not born to avoid the shadow. It was born to walk through it and expose what hides there. Because only by walking into darkness can light understand itself. Throughout history, the Scorpio archetype has been both feared and revered for this reason. Every age, every civilization has had its Scorpios, the seekers, the alchemists, the rebels, the ones who question everything that others accept as truth. From the mystics of ancient Egypt who guarded the secrets of life and death, to the spiritual reformers who challenged empires of illusion, all carried a spark of Scorpio's fire. They were never comfortable in a world of masks because they were born to unmask it. But make no mistake, the war they fought was not against people, but against ignorance, against the hypnosis of fear, greed, and desire that blinds the human heart. In the Buddhist tradition, this war is personified by Mara, the tempter, the force of delusion that tried to seduce the Buddha away from enlightenment. Mara promised safety, pleasure, and power, the same illusions Scorpio faces again and again. And like the Buddha, Scorpio must learn that Mara's strength is not in his power, but in our belief in him. The occult war is fought not with swords or curses, but with choices, the choice to stay conscious when the world invites you to sleep, to speak truth when silence is safer, to hold compassion when vengeance feels easier, to see through manipulation both in others and in oneself. Scorpio's battlefield is awareness itself. Because make no mistake, the world too is afraid of awakening. Systems built on greed, control, and fear cannot survive if human beings remember who they truly are. And Scorpio, with its piercing gaze and fearless intensity, threatens those systems simply by existing authentically. Their very presence disrupts illusion. their truth shakes foundations. That is why, throughout history, people with Scorpio energy have been misunderstood, exiled, silenced, or demonized. They see too deeply, feel too strongly, and question too much. But what society calls too much is actually the medicine humanity avoids. Because Scorpio carries within it the wisdom of death, and the world fears death more than anything, it fears endings, transformations, and truth. Scorpio therefore becomes both the teacher and the mirror. When they speak, they reveal hypocrisy. When they love, they expose hidden motives. When they fall, they rise again, reminding others that resurrection is possible. Yet, this role is not easy. The Scorpio soul often feels the collective heaviness of the world, as if carrying shadows that are not their own. They absorb the pain of others, sense corruption in silence, and feel battles that have no name. This empathy is a gift, but also a burden. Without awareness, Scorpio can drown in energies that are not theirs, mistaking collective darkness for personal failure. That is why spiritual discernment is essential. Scorpio must learn to separate what belongs to them from what belongs to the world. Otherwise, they will fight wars that are not theirs to fight, burning out under the weight of other people's karma. But when they awaken, when they learn to transmute collective darkness into light, they become alchemists of the soul. They can walk into corrupted places and still remain pure. They can listen to pain without absorbing it. They can look at death and still see rebirth. This is not fantasy. It is the natural evolution of Scorpio's archetype, from emotional warrior to spiritual healer. The more conscious the Scorpio becomes, the less they fight, and the more they transform simply by being. Their silence becomes power. Their compassion becomes revolution. Their presence becomes light strong enough to dissolve the shadows of others. In Buddhist symbolism, this is known as turning the poison into medicine. The Bodhisattva does not flee the suffering of the world. They stay among it fully awake, and through awareness transform suffering into wisdom. Scorpio, in its awakened state, is the Bodhisattva of transformation, the one who walks through darkness to bring light to others. But this path requires courage beyond measure, because to awaken in a sleeping world is to live misunderstood, to be surrounded by illusions and still remain true, to watch others chase comfort while you chase truth. And yet, Scorpio was built for this. Their soul was tempered in the fire of death itself. They can handle the darkness not because they enjoy it, but because they have already survived it. And so the war continues, not outside, but inside. Every day, Scorpio must choose will. I fight illusion with anger or with awareness. Will I respond to darkness with fear or with understanding? Will I mirror the corruption of the world or will I transmute it? The awakened Scorpio knows that the real revolution is not external, it is internal. The only victory that matters is mastery of one's own mind. Because when consciousness awakens fully, the shadows of the world begin to lose their grip. This is the hidden power of Scorpio to transform collective darkness by mastering their own. Life lesson: the warrior of awareness. The true war is never against others. It is against unconsciousness within and without. When you meet cruelty, ignorance, or manipulation, remember you are not being attacked. You are being invited to awaken. The shadow appears not to destroy you, but to test your light. Scorpio teaches that power without awareness becomes corruption, and awareness without compassion becomes isolation. The middle path, the sacred path, is to see the illusion clearly and still choose love. That is the essence of awakening, not to escape the world, but to see it as it is and remain unshaken. So when you feel surrounded by darkness, do not despair. The fact that you can see the darkness means you are already more awake than it. The night fears the flame, but it cannot extinguish it. And if you are a Scorpio soul, remember this. You were not born to fit into this world. You were born to change its vibration. One truth, one act of compassion, one moment of awareness at a time. Comment if this resonates with you. Have you ever felt that your pain was not only personal, that it was preparing you to help heal the world? Part 5. The Phoenix Ascension. There comes a moment after the betrayals, the deaths, the wars both inner and outer, when the Scorpio soul stops fighting. Not because it has been defeated, but because it finally understands that there was never an enemy to fight. The battlefield dissolves and all that remains is awareness. That is the beginning of ascension. Scorpio's journey, long misunderstood, is not about power, revenge, or survival. It is about surrender, not the surrender of weakness, but the surrender of illusion. The soul realizes that to control is to suffer, to cling is to burn, and to resist change is to die 1,000 unnecessary deaths. When Scorpio finally lets go, truly lets go, something divine begins to unfold. The fire that once destroyed them becomes the light that guides them. The poison that once corrupted becomes the medicine that heals. This is the alchemy of the phoenix, the final stage of Scorpio's evolution. The phoenix is not an escape from the fire, it is its transformation. It burns willingly, knowing that the flames are not punishment but purification. Every ending becomes sacred. Every loss becomes an initiation. Every wound becomes a doorway to compassion. And with that realization, Scorpio's energy changes completely. Where once there was intensity, now there is serenity. Where once there was vengeance, now there is forgiveness. Where once there was fear, now there is freedom. People around an awakened Scorpio often feel something they cannot explain. A calm gravity, a radiant warmth hidden beneath stillness. This is not charisma, it is presence. It is the quiet authority of someone who has already walked through hell and found heaven within. They no longer need to prove anything. Their power is effortless, their wisdom unspoken. They embody the paradox of the enlightened warrior, fierce in truth, gentle in heart. In Buddhist philosophy, this stage is called nirvana, within samsara, awakening, not by escaping the world, but by seeing through it. The Scorpio soul, once trapped in cycles of obsession and rebirth, now becomes the observer. They see the dance of light and shadow of birth and death, and they smile not with cynicism, but with peace, because they know both are sacred. This is not fantasy. You can recognize the Phoenix Scorpios in real life. They are the ones who speak little, yet their words change people. The ones who have suffered deeply, yet hold no bitterness. The ones who radiate compassion not from innocence, but from experience. They do not try to heal the world, they simply are the healing. In their presence, others feel safe to face their own darkness. They become mirrors for transformation. Because the Phoenix does not tell you what to do, it shows you what is possible. It reminds you that what burns you today will one day illuminate you, that what you lose is never truly lost, it is only changing form. This is Scorpio's true purpose, not to dominate, not to suffer, but to transform. To walk through death so that others may see that death is not the end. To hold space for humanity's pain and transmute it into light. To become a bridge between shadow and awakening. And yet, even in ascension, the fire remains. Because life itself is a cycle of endless burning and rebirth, even the phoenix must rise and fall again and again, learning deeper layers of surrender each time. But the difference now is awareness. The Scorpio soul no longer fears the flames. It flies through them, wings open, heart awake, eyes clear. That is freedom. The world, still asleep in many ways, often mistakes this serenity for detachment. They may think the phoenix no longer feels, but in truth it feels everything: joy and sorrow, life and death, gain and loss, without being enslaved by any of it. It loves without clinging, serves without pride, and burns without fear. Because the phoenix has understood the oldest truth in the universe, that what you truly are cannot be destroyed. No betrayal can touch it, no loss can diminish it, no death can end it. It is the eternal consciousness that watches all things rise and fall, the silent witness behind every storm, the still flame within every fire. When Scorpio remembers this truth, enlightenment is no longer distant. It becomes the very breath of their being. And in that awareness, they discover something even more extraordinary. Their personal journey from Scorpion to Eagle to Phoenix is not only about themselves, it is the archetype of humanity itself. Every soul in some form walks the Scorpio path, battling desire, facing betrayal, dying to illusion, awakening to light. The Scorpio soul simply does it first more intensely so that others may follow. That is why the world needs Scorpio energy, not to destroy but to renew, not to dominate but to reveal, not to curse but to awaken. Because Scorpio's story is the story of us all, the story of a soul that forgot its light, descended into shadow, and then through pain remembered what it truly was: divine, unbreakable, and infinite. Life lesson: the fire that liberates, you will burn. Not because life is cruel, but because your soul is sacred. The fire comes not to punish you, but to purify you. It strips away everything that is false until only truth remains. And what is that truth? That you are not the ashes, you are the flame. Scorpio's ascension teaches us that enlightenment is not found in escaping the world, but in embracing it fully. Joy, pain, loss, rebirth, and finding peace in the middle of it all. To awaken is to stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every loss, every betrayal, every death is an invitation to rise higher. The phoenix does not curse the fire, it thanks it, because without the fire it would never remember that it could fly. Comment if this resonates with you. Have you ever walked through fire and realized only later that it was guiding you home? Final outro: the sacred fire within you. So now we arrive at the end, or perhaps another beginning. We have walked through the depths of Scorpio's journey: desire that burns betrayal, that wounds death, that purifies, and rebirth that enlightens. We have witnessed the transformation from Scorpion to Eagle and from Eagle to Phoenix. But the truth is, this story was never just about Scorpio. It was about the hidden war that lives in each of us. Every soul, no matter the sign, carries its own poison and its own light. We all face moments where we must burn to become new, when life tears away what we thought we needed only to show us who we truly are. That is the essence of Scorpio's wisdom transformation: through surrender power, through awareness, freedom, through love. Scorpio teaches the world something most people spend lifetimes avoiding: that darkness is not the enemy, it is the teacher. It is in our darkest moments that the seeds of awakening are planted. It is in heartbreak that compassion is born. It is in loss that we find what cannot be lost: the indestructible flame of consciousness. The Scorpio path is not gentle, but it is sacred. To walk it is to know the price of wisdom, to fall and rise again and again until every scar becomes scripture, a record of what the soul has survived. And through that, to understand that the fire we fear most is the fire that liberates us. So if you are a Scorpio soul, or if life has ever dragged you into your own underworld, know this: you are not broken. You are being initiated. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Every betrayal was refining you. Every ending was teaching you how to begin again. And every time you burned, the universe whispered, now you are closer to who you truly are. You do not need to fear the poison anymore, because the poison, once understood, becomes the path. And at the end of that path, there is no death, only awakening. Final life lesson: the light you carry. There is no enlightenment without darkness, no rebirth without death, no love without loss, and no awakening without surrender. Scorpio's wisdom reminds us that to transform is not to escape the fire, but to trust it, to realize that your greatest wounds are also your greatest teachers, that what feels like destruction is in truth the hand of creation in disguise. So when life burns you, when it strips away all that you thought you were, don't curse the fire, bow to it, for it is not here to destroy you, it is here to reveal you. And when you rise, as all phoenixes do, remember to light the way for others still walking through their night. If this journey has touched something inside, you leave a comment and share your reflection, your battles, your rebirths, your fire. And if you wish to continue walking the path of transformation, healing, and ancient wisdom, subscribe to this channel, The Path to Buddhist Wisdom. Because this is only the beginning. Many signs, many souls, one truth. We are all here to burn, to awaken, and to rise.